Respect on to the one, smoke it on. Smoke it at Studio One. There again. There we go. Oh, damn yo. It's on and popping. We keep the crowd clapping. Sexy ladies up on the dance hall. Keeps moving and stopping. Crystal by the gal. On his beat blowing. We got the rhyme for your mind. Smooth sheet talking. It's on and popping. He keeps the crowd clapping. Sexy ladies up on the dance hall. Keeps moving and stopping. Crystal by the gal. On his beat blowing. We got the rhyme for your mind. Smooth sheet talking. We keep dance all cock long after dark. Now watch your face, you know we just sharp. Khaki suit and clubs. Empress love, how we park. With a frat with a big white shark. When we play football, the whole team get rocked. You like ice up on the pinky, watch the spark. Fat monkey girl, wheeling the star. Execs rejected it. What? But the sheets requested it. Oh, Uja bless, Uja bless. No man can curse him again. Execs rejected it. Nah, but the sheets requested it. Uja bless, Uja bless. No man can curse him. Salsa, it's on and popping. We keeps the crowd clapping. Sexy ladies up on the dance hall. Keeps moving and stopping. Crystal by the gal. On his beat blowing. We got the rhyme for your mind. Smooth sheet talking. It's on and popping. We keep the crowd clapping. Sexy ladies up on the dance hall. Keep moving and stopping.
Yo, DJ,
Are you done mixing yet?
Your DJ has only just begun.
The DJ accepts no responsibility for the next record. This is a request.
Yo, what the baddest mix this? No man, they tell me nothing.
Racism is alive and well. If we as black people and people of color don't get ourselves together, form some kind of unification, foundation, we talk economically to this called capitalism building. It's real. Listen to me, Lord. Racial profiling. It's a serious thing. A bird without wing. Racial profiling. Listen, me king, this on your top of ranking. Racial profiling. It's a serious thing. A bird without wing. Racial profiling. I saw the thing set in a this system. I cannot breathe. Living while black, much less gonna Starbucks. Living while black, up against the clan. Living while black, life in my hand. Living while black, Calamus in we under constant attack. Master race, master plan, the drive me, hold me back. Smoking.
A Psalm of Life by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. What the heart of the young man said to the psalmist. Tell me not in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream. For the soul is dead that slumbers, and things are not what they seem. Life is real, life is earnest, and the grave is not its goal. Dust thou art, to dust returnest, was not spoken of the soul. Not enjoyment and not sorrow is our destined end or way, but to act that each tomorrow find us farther than today. Art is long and time is fleeting, and our hearts, though stout and brave, still like muffled drums are beating funeral marches to the grave. In the world's broad field of battle, in the bivouac of life, be not like dumb, driven cattle. Be a hero in the strife. Trust no future, however pleasant. Let the dead past bury their dead. Act in the living present. Heart within and God overhead. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime and depart and leave behind us footprints in the sand of time. Footprints that perhaps another, sailing o'er life's solemn main, a forlorn and shipwrecked brother, seeing shall take heart again. Let us then be up and doing with a heart for any fate, still achieving and still pursuing. Learn to labor and learn to wait. Good evening. I am G. Michael Reed, and we'd like to invite you once again to our Wednesday evening podcast. We do this every week on Sea Smoke. We do it on YouTube and Facebook. And I want to thank you for joining us. We have some faithful listeners and followers who tune in every Wednesday, and we are grateful. We invite you to share with us your comments. Let us know what you think. What are some of the issues that you think we ought to be addressing, talking about? If you have any guests that you would like to invite to the show, give us their names and their number. We'll get in touch with them, and we make sure that they get a formal invitation. And we do what we do every week, which is just chit chat, take a tour through the topics. And we are here in the tropics, and it's getting on to short pants season in Belize. A few weeks ago, it was quite nippy, cold. And we know how you people in the US of A in particular will tell us, you're talking about cold, right? So we get, I believe, in the low 60s sometimes. I don't believe we've ever dipped too low into the 50s, but there have been some times that have felt that cold. But nevertheless, it is cold for us here in Belize when it hits them below 60 kind of thing there. And that when we pull out the sweater and the sheet, maybe a blanket, and if it get too cold, we need comforter that we got stashed all year long. But it certainly gives us a time to wear some of the stuff that, sometimes our friends come in from the States, and we have to say how grateful we are for that. And when they went back and left one listen in. I don't know why they want to left me snow boots on for a jacket and for a coat though. You know what I'm saying? Leave beanie hat and whatnot, that could work. But there's a thick jacket though. It don't get that cold in Belize, and it doesn't stay that cold for too long. But right now, like today, not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful, gorgeous. And guess what? This is when we enter our fruit season. First thing you'll probably see, and we don't see one or two of them, they were very expensive, custard apple. And if you know custard apple, boy, we put on the condensed milk in it, and it's delight, heaven. Then, of course, soursop. Soursop comes different times, but certainly around this time. May plum. I don't know if you have May plum, but that is scrumptious. Mangoes, of course, all different kinds. We got number 11, we got Hayden, we got blue mango, black mango, common mango, Judge Wig. What else we got? Full belly, apple mango. There's a variety, and I don't know why we don't can our mangoes, because they can peaches, and peaches certainly aren't nearly as delicious as mangoes. Maybe the texture and the whole as good, but they must find some way to preserve it. But mangoes are delightful. You could make jam, you could stew mango, or you could just nyam them just like that, and the juice running down your elbow. There's nothing like a delicious mango. So you got Mommy coming up soon too. Well, that's another delightful fruit. Of course, we always have the fruits like, avocado should be coming soon also. Tamarind. Boy, if they're just total, a whole list of ambrosia, just delightful stuff. And if you're ever in Belize around this time, because this is for we dry season, we only have actually 3 months of dry. March, April, May. March, of course, things bust open, and this will be next week. Friday is the first right here. And next weekend, of course, we'll have the 9th of March festivities, which include the Ruta Maya Canoe Challenge. For a while, it knocked the Harbor Regatta off of the calendar, but now the Harbor Regatta is back on. So there are people who do their sailing, and we plan to be out there. Again, kite season now, with the breeze picking up. Today was just, man, anything you put out there, I see on Levi was just a piece of paper bag, and it was going up nicely. So kite season, and we here at the Charlie Burton Park are making kites. So if you need a kite, just touch base with us. Touch base on Facebook at my Facebook page, GEEMICHAELREID. That's I am. So look for me anytime. Joe, I'm here. I'm not like you out of here. I'm not like. Yeah, you're muffled. You're muffled. Anyway, first off, I want to say a very happy birthday to my eldest brother by my mother's side. I got an elder brother by my father's side, Anthony Reed. He was in the police department in Belize for a long time. He's been in the States for a long, long time. My other brother has been there just as long. His name is Frederick Andrew Reed. He is the one who took me up to the States there for a while. Interesting experience. And I tell you, I experienced racism firsthand, being put out of a barber shop, tell me they don't want. And so when they look for me, I say, oh, you liked, and somebody even got a story funny. They put me out of the barber chair, went down to school, and they put me out of the spot, the area where the white people eat, because I don't belong in that area, and put me with the black folks. And that's when I really learned my true identity. That's when I started wearing an afro, and after that, a dreadlock. But then I came to Belize and went to gym, playing some ball. And the ball boy passed the ball, and the next boy looked at me and said, pass the ball, white boy. And I froze in mid-air because me don't know which one now. Where you want me to be? Tell me which one I'll be, and I'll happy to fit in there for you if it makes you happy, even at my inconvenience. But no got me in the middle, and I'm confused. I'm already confused. I'm already messed up, and you want to tell me something else. So anyway, Joe tried to get in, not in yet, but I'm sure he'll try again. Couple of things. Anybody see the story with the con man? And I understand he got caught in San Pedro, but not before he ran up a bill 5 times what he ran out in PG, which was $27,000. How does a person like this keep getting that kind of credit? No local would get that kind of privilege and that kind of leniency. None. You go there, they want to say so much ID and references and all kind of thing. So I don't know that I have much sympathy for them, because that's a mistake. You have to check. Nobody did there for check it. And how could he go to San Pedro and do it again five more times? Is that crazy or what? And how can he run up to that high? And of course, the con is like what many cons are, dealing with your greed. When you see the man show them a thing where the money come in, they transfer some money. When they see that money, they figure, oh, that's the money they are. Not realizing that no money they are. Joseph, greetings. All right. That what? The way I do this week, when the last week you came on and it was wonderful. But you have to, you've got to wear the hair on you, man. they kind of talking. They kind of like your voice muffled. Is your mic up loud? Is it down low? Is it far away? Is it too close up? What? Try something there. Yeah, I see you. I see you. And I don't get no. Well, again, a slight echo, but your voice is muffled when you talk. But say something. Say.
I'm doing the show, that's sometimes that's the time at the show, the bike that is in the show.
No. All right, I'm asking for say I'm a proud UDP, but I don't know that he was going to say that. So yes, man, the con man did that, and well, they catch him. What do we do now? Put her in a jail for a while. Still nobody can get their money. Hi, Lisa. Good evening. Welcome. A ridiculous situation because I don't know how he got to that point. Good evening, Miss Allen. We're riding solo until Joe figures out his issues, and Greg usually comes in a little later. Couple of things on the front burner. We have elections, municipal elections coming up next week. I don't know if I was to hazard a guess. I'd say the people will win. I don't see the UDP able to mount quite a challenge. The slate that they're presenting, in particular in Belize City, leaves a lot to be desired. And like, you have to wonder if then they scrape the bottom of the barrel. What is going on? Why do they think that they can push this in the face of the people and they could just get away with anything? Maybe it's a test. Maybe to see if indeed people will vote for anybody when they put up there. I don't think so. The PUP with their slogan, "Stay on track." I tell you, they've been building a few streets. They completed the Haloba Bridge, which was started. When did it start? Did that start under the UDP or well, it's been they're in the government is in 3 years. Has it taken that long? I don't recall. I don't know who's responsible for it. I know it was built by Belizean engineers and construction people, so that's good. And there's Greg. Good evening, Greg. How are you doing?
Good evening, sir. I'm doing well, thank you very much.
And you come in loud and clear. Joe has been trying to get in, but he has been coming in muffled.
And Lisa is in the backstage trying to get in too. So
Okay.
maybe Mr. Smoke could let her in.
No, I see everybody else except Lisa. She's having the same problem she had last week. She will have to go out and come back in again. Because
Okay,
you came in.
I sent her a note. I'll send her a note.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, well, Greg is in, so piano and everything.
Yeah.
How's it going? How was the week?
The week was good. It was we have a lot going on right now. We're starting our real push for the both the Democrat and the Republican nomination for presidency. So we're having these contests going on at the state so they could select the delegates. And
do you work in that field, or are you just following it from where
no,
you
I
are?
don't. No, I'm an engineer.
Okay.
I do building and system engineering and
You ever work for
politics
Trump?
is just
You ever work for
a
Trump?
hobby. No, I work for
Yeah,
Obama.
Trump said a
and
black man is a good worker, boy.
he does, and he said he wants the Jews to do his finance too.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't blame him on that one because when it comes to money, boy, they can handle that. I don't know. How does it look from where you sit, Gregory? You got Biden and you got Trump, and I don't know that. I don't know that the best man will win and the worst man will lose.
Yeah, it is very tough. It is going to be a very tough race. I don't know if anything will come about that will disqualify President Trump from running. There are so many cases open on the end that could potentially side rail his effort, and I think that would be a devastation for democracy at this point. If they were going to do something, I think they should have done it earlier.
It's not going to look good. It's not
It's
going
not going to look good. It's not going to look
in
good.
particular, they fast track something to get him removed from the ballot.
Yeah.
And now the way the justice system works, it grinds slowly, so he can drag that stuff out until after the election, and then, as he has said, forgive himself. No.
Well, I don't know if you could quite do that. I don't think anyone could pardon. No, I don't think legally you could pardon yourself. I think
yes, he can. In fact, what he wants now, he said, what he wants to do is to give immunity to presidents even when they cross the line. Did you see that?
Well, he could say all that. I don't think any Congress is going to. I think as crazy as and as wayward as our Congress has been, I don't think they will do something like that, because it will come back to haunt them. You know, you're only president for whatever term in office you are, and then the other party get a chance. So whatever craziness they establish now, we always see it comes back and harm the other party at some point. So I don't think
when have they ever been smart? When have they not? When have they thought about such things, Greg? With that, everything seems in foresight, and now crazy thing, because these are supposed to be the best minds you have there.
Yeah,
you would think, no?
Yeah. Well, we have proven quite often that sometimes it's not the best minds that are looking at stuff, and that it's kind of ad hoc and opportunist and just in the moment that things are made. Sometime even in that very chaotic process, it seems to fet its way out and level and some good surface, but it is tough. But also I noticed we having elections coming up in Belize, which would probably be immediately the city council and village council elections, and we know we have the former mayor here of the big city.
Yeah, next Wednesday actually our election is.
Yeah, I think March 6th, right? Is it March 6th?
We met somebody this morning and were pointing out to me that Joe Cowie was actually the only mayor that left a surplus in the city council. Yeah, when he left, there was a surplus. I wish you could have told me, but
oh, your voice, your sound is not coming good. Mr. Cowie.
I don't know what. Maybe I have to try your phone, Joe. Okay. Hi, Deidre. Good evening. We haven't seen Deidre on for a while.
I know she's in the background. She's been sidelining us, but she's been giving us good text info and stuff, and prompting us constantly on issues and what's going on in the wider world of things. So that's
giving
good
us
too.
Giving us support. Yeah.
Yes. She's a great researcher.
Yeah. Joe has tied down Minister Dolores Balderramos, but I believe she's under the weather, suffering from a crazy flu that has been going around. Apparently, a lot of people are done with the flu, and she has got it bad. So she is supposed to be coming on. I believe it will be March 20th, I think he said, which is a couple of weeks down the road. So by then we could maybe revive the issue, because that issue is not going anywhere, Greg.
No, that's not going anywhere. I want it to be a fruitful opportunity when we have her, so we probably need to study our lines and make sure we could ask her some relevant questions and stuff, and not make it our best impression. We having an active minister of government. We want to also give them the opportunity to be expressive and to be smart on what we are doing here.
Maybe it's good that we don't have her before these elections, because we might have been accused of one side, and I think we need to stay away from politics first, or partisan politics.
Yes,
you can't stay away from politics, because
politics is life, right?
Yeah.
Politics is the life.
But we don't want to be, also don't want to be one issue show either. And I said it from the very beginning that I hope the anti-Mayans understand that we are not going to be advocates for their position, though we will give them a forum. We will give them an opportunity to be able to voice their opinion. And
no, I don't think we want to express any anti-Mayan. Mayans are Belizeans. I think the concern most of us have, and I've heard expressed by many that are not part of the MLA and TTA is basically the proportion of what the claim is. That's the only concern. Nobody doubts that there is any need or any desire or any legal maneuvering that could be done that would get away from what we have locked ourselves in with this communal land rights claim.
Yeah, Joe seems to have worked his issues out. Joe,
Good
evening.
evening again.
Are you hearing me good now?
Oh,
Much
yeah.
better. Much better.
Do you know what you did so that next time you don't do what you didn't do?
No, I'm the same thing I've been doing. I've been using it for other meetings, and I never had any problem. But I came back.
It was just a little slow, like it's on a different time track.
No, his voice was really muffled.
That's
where are you now on the phone as opposed to the computer then?
No, I'm on the phone because they just muffled.
All right.
The muffling
Yeah.
is on me.
Yeah. And you sound good. So that yeah.
He has on a shirt, look like he's ready for some type of Caribbean weather there, like he's going lobster fest or something.
It's a red shirt. It might be campaigning.
You think so? You think he switched? You think he switched on us?
Yeah. All right. Yes, man.
I'm sure the other party would like to have him at this time.
Anybody like to have Joe with his experience, no? Again, we were talking about him leaving the council with a surplus, and that is no small achievement because every councillor has that.
But then you have to tell me what he billed to because if you didn't bill anything and you have a surplus, I'm with you.
So what happened is that when I became mayor of the city, the World Bank was willing to fund some infrastructure projects, and also they wanted to do institutional strengthening for the decentralization for the city, meaning the city will be taking on some of the services, which is like the court system we took on, the traffic we took on, the fire stations and different services for the city. But when I looked at the plan that was designed for the institutional strengthening, I thought that it was more equipment oriented. And I met with the World Bank and I tell them I want to redesign the institutional strengthening and I want to put it more into management. And they said, fine, go ahead, which I did. And then they accepted it. Of course, they told me that they need the Prime Minister approval, and the Prime Minister was then Esquivel. So they told me that they will not tell the Prime Minister that it was I who redid it, but it was the World Bank. So he did that. The point is that I carried it out. I made some tremendous changes, one in the areas of revenue management. I made changes in the area of expenditures. I had quarterly public reports. I had interim audits. But from the outset, I changed the whole budgeting. I did a budgeting based on knowing what the cost will be to provide the services for the city.
Okay. Let me ask you a question too. What was it not under your council that was the first time that the city council was able to take on debts on its own, raise money through bonds or other instruments like that?
Well, it was the first time that we did not really depend on the central government to finance any increases to workers. Nor did we depend on the central government to build the streets, because under the law, it was the city council to build the streets, not just the maintain.
Well, you couldn't because it was a hostile central government, correct? You were.
Well, we didn't really need them. We didn't need the central government to do that.
But don't you get a subvention from the central government for some capital projects?
No, the subvention is in the Appropriation Act. That is approved from the time they approved the Appropriation Act. And when Esquivel wanted Hubert Ellington for me to go to Hubert Ellington as the then Minister for Local Government, to show him and explain to him, well, how come we are doing these things? So I told him I'm not going there, but I'm inviting him to come over. Let us show him. So we did strengthen the revenue base tremendously. We moved the collection from 60 up to about 80 90%. And we had far better budgeting. Our budgeting were more output result oriented. But I had some good people there I made a good team, no? We had a lot of good potential workers in management, in finance, in human resource. And I think a great amount of it was really so how to lead a team, put a team together.
Could you break
So we
down and
cleared
tell
we
us?
cleared all the debts that we inherited,
Yeah,
and then we begin to have surplus. So with the
Yeah.
surplus, evidently they were willing to give us what we want, the banks.
yeah.
And then we were able to do a lot of credits for building our streets. And we begin to build streets. We raised then the time we were still responsible for garbage collection and disposal. We increased the workers' salaries. And all this, there was one the council can do this. So we did it because of the whole institutional strengthening of the council, which was more human resource oriented.
But didn't the World Bank also finance some infrastructure project at that time?
Yes, they did. The World Bank financed the infrastructure project for the city.
Was that a
under the World
loan or
Bank
was
we
that a
started
grant?
To build, it was there were concessionary loans.
Okay.
And some of it was grant. The institutional strengthening portion, the 3 million was grants.
Okay.
Explain concessionary loans. What do you say?
They were very low interest,
Okay.
interest loans.
So you
Was the
basically pay
government-
back where you borrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Wa-
lent
wa-
us for
was
that very
the
low
federal
interest.
government responsible for those loans, or was it the city council that was to pay
No,
back
the
those
loans were
loans?
given. The loans were given to the central government.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
And we-
again, it was a UDP central government, correct?
Yes, the only thing the PUP had was Belize City.
So how were you able to work with them in that? I mean, there's usually hostility.
No, they're
Well,
not.
put it this way.
Yes, there is. Are you mad?
No, because what happened,
Ask Mr. Joe. There's no hostility.
No, there was no hostility. It's just that we didn't depend on them. We did what we were supposed to do. So all they had to do for us was give us the subvention by law. They had to give us.
Hold, Joe, hold. When you have a PUP government and a UDP city council, or you have a UDP government and a PUP city council, they don't get along the way if you have a PUP government and a PUP council. Isn't that correct?
Yes, but I'm saying
it's not as easy a time that you have.
That's correct.
I'm not
I
saying,
would agree.
I don't think you're honest. Like, let me try to explain to you again. The city is an autonomous city, not independent. We can't be independent within the country, but we were autonomous. Now, the city had its own revenue base. We had a revenue base large enough in the city to do what the remit of the law was for the council to do. The problem with it is that, the problem with it, as it is right now, we are right back to where we were before. We are not using the revenue base of the city. So we become very dependent on the central government to do things for us.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I'm
But
saying.
that's what I want to talk about, because I want to
Yeah.
know why we keep falling in this trap. There's enough potential to raise revenue for the city to support the operational needs of the city, and if not, they could broaden it. They could find a way to get some of the taxes for some of the tourism that are coming in, and get some money from tourist board or whoever to do some of the capture, to fill in some of the gap that this activity is causing and impacting the infrastructure that exists right now, right?
Yeah, but that was not necessary at that time. Let me tell you why. What we did, we had what you call a mass-based computerized system to do a valuation of all the properties in the city. And with that, we were able to bring a more or less equitable distribution of the taxes across the city.
Okay.
And with
That's
mass-based
property. You're
approach-
talking about property tax, or you're talking about
No, property tax.
trade license?
Property tax was the number one. That's the principal revenue earner for the city.
Yes. Okay.
So we were able to enhance that tremendously because we were not using the revenue base of the city. The collection, let's look at the assessment alone. From the assessment, they were only collecting like 60%. That's ridiculous. The assessments were already low because they never captured all the properties. And then they were very skewed. In some areas like Caribbean shores, you have some of the most valuable properties. But when you look at the taxes they were collecting in here, they were almost the same like some of the properties in the lower part of the city. So it was totally inequitable. In a sense,
Is
I think the
is that
risk was
is that
playing far
because
less.
they didn't have proper assessment on those property, or was there something else going on that we
I think
that
what was happening, and I think it is beginning to happen again, I will be quite candid with you. You cannot expect any leaders, political leaders, to manage without a very strong public sector workers. You, the mayor, can't do it alone. You, that the leader, you have to bring the team together. You have to got the right systems in place. You have to got proper budgeting. You have to got result-oriented type budgeting, not just input-oriented. So I think that what we brought to the city, fortunately, we had some good people, and I provided the leadership to them. And we never need the central government, so they couldn't penalize us.
Tell me something, Joe. Yeah, but if they want to, they can.
No, they couldn't. They tried to, and they threatened.
But we're not talking about your administration, your city council. There are times I know when the city council has asked the central government for help, when they've made it quite difficult, in particular when it's a different party. It's not possible.
I know you guys I want to get
It's
into this
very
nasty
unfortunate.
politics stuff. What I want to talk about.
It's very unfortunate that when I listen today to many of the candidates, mayors and whatnot, it seems to me, and I'm not wanting to be sounding intellectually arrogant with you all, but they don't know really what they are doing. They don't.
But Joe, what I want to talk about is what are the revenue bases that the city council derive income from. I know that I want to list those off so that we all can capture that and understand what those are. For example, property tax, and then they have the revenue from.
Then we have the trade license.
Yes.
Then we have the revenue coming from traffic. That was what we took over. That was a big increase in our revenue through the decentralization. We took over traffic management, so we got all the revenue from the license.
Okay.
So that was big because we were decentralizing.
Yes. Do we get any revenue from the tourism sector of the economy?
No, that never come until after when they agreed that they will begin to do some revenue sharing from. That was from the tourist village, the head tax.
So you get some now.
I think they continue to get a portion of it only from the
bed tax.
The head tax, right? Only from the one in the city.
The port from when they land.
But that's not anything big. That's not very big. The big thing is the property tax. The next big thing is the traffic. The traffic bringing a large amount of revenue.
These are vehicle registration and so forth.
Tickets.
Right. That's right. And the trade license, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
And then
I know they get some money from tickets, but usually that's just cover the administrative costs of the courts.
We didn't ever use the penalties from tickets as revenue. That is not revenue.
That's correct.
That's a mistake. That's a penalty. That's not revenue.
Yeah.
But they use it now for a revenue base. I am saying then, after that, we had the liquor license.
Yes.
We did pretty good too with that. So all of those things, we increased the collection on them.
Joe, DJ wants to know who manages the enforcement, the collection of property taxes right now.
All right, what we did at the time, we created our own court. We created our own municipal court. That's what I did during my period. So what we did then, we never need the central government courts.
Okay.
So when we want to collect our taxes, whether it's property tax, whatever tax it is, if you are in arrears, just follow the law.
Can I ask you a question? Is there at any point you think when the city boundaries is going to be expanded to maybe include Ladyville or 8 miles?
That was the plan. We had developed a plan at the time, which was called the Greater Belize City. And we were to move the city and to include Ladyville and Hattieville. Mm-hmm. And that was part of the same visionary thinking we had with the World Bank. And then we were to take Belize City downtown, where Albert Street is, and move from there, the commercial center, and bring it up into the Coney Drive area where it is coming now naturally. And we were to build a boardwalk all the way from where the government house is, right down towards Bliss Institute there by the light. The whole area would have been, and that whole area there, coming into Albert Street, Regent Street, that whole area would have been closed off. And by the East Canal, where CBA is, we're going to put over that some grills where they were used for parking.
Yeah.
And then you will come into the city and you could have your shopping, you could have the arts, the music. We want to entertain.
I think that
whole
was
area
part
would
of
have
the
been a tourist attraction.
regeneration project that never really took hold and stuff.
Yeah, I never did gone through it. And after a while, people lost interest and they never put it.
Didn't we have somebody on here one time talking about that same issue?
Yes,
he did. But I didn't know about. He talked about a master plan. I wasn't sure about that one. I never heard of a master plan.
Well, his was just for the buildings. Remember, they had some buildings
that's right.
with
right.
Taiwan. Taiwan was kind of paying for it, and I think probably by 5 or 6 buildings, colonial buildings, was restored under the program. But I think when government changed, they totally kind of misapplied the intended use of the project. So that's
gentlemen, there's I was watching Senator Courtney read a bill that he presented to the House about it's a grandfather. I wouldn't say a grandfather clause, which is something else, but it's suggesting that grandfathers would be held liable for their grandchildren if the parents aren't able to do what's necessary to keep them functioning and alive. No, any comments on that? Because there was an argument from the opposition that suggested you can't do that because if a man bury dead, bury his son or something like that.
But those are good points. But I want to go back, since we are in election season for city council, and kind of get what are some of the things we could do we should be expecting from city council government, and how we could advance some of the agendas to have a more vital city, a more prosperous city, and importantly, a more safer city. But I hear what you're saying, because that leads into the same thing. How do we deal with these wayward children that we're having? And somebody have to be responsible. I don't know if you could legally make grandfathers responsible, but they ought to have the obligation and have a self of worth and responsibility for their lineage and their family, is my general idea on that type of stuff.
I would want to, before I speak on that issue with the grandfather responsibility, I believe that the country should continue to pursue the decentralization that was started. I believe that if we take the country and we do a clear, and that came up under the same Maya land issue we were talking about, if you demarcate the country from what is considered responsibility of a national government, and then come down to responsibility of a subnational government.
Yes.
And then you clearly make your geographical demarcations of the separate government, the 3 levels of government.
Yeah. A central, a district, like Placentia, and a local government.
A place like Placentia, which is 14 miles, one of the third, if not the second largest destination. Placentia can become a city council and decentralize so that they take more responsibility over things like policing, over things like the fire department, taking over some of the clinics. So if you begin to continue the decentralization that was started back then, and clearly demarcate these towns and turn them into councils, expand them so that they become economical.
Let me ask you a question. Is there a difference between a town council and a city council, like a village council? Is there some legal differences in responsibility between those 2 entities?
Yes, there is, and I think the one time I was surprised that for you to be a city, you have to have a cathedral.
Anyway, but that is true. I've seen that. That is true.
It might be true.
Yeah.
I think that the definition, as was the perspective when decentralization in the 80s, 90s was really moving across the world, especially in Latin America. the idea was that he who feels it knows it. So it was felt that if you decentralize, you will better be able to provide services. For example, what affects us in the city, Belmopan might not too quick to respond because it's not affecting them there. So if you decentralize,
you give local power and
while you
autonomy.
decentralize, you do institutional strengthening.
Yes.
You would then have these places being cities because we can grow them, we can expand them. For example, Belize City alone, the greater Belize City can take in Ladyville and Hattieville. They shouldn't be villages. We can have one big city, including them.
But they would have to be paying taxes, of course.
San Pedro has the potential to be a city. It's large enough.
Yeah.
So
And
if
the,
you
and
take
the,
these
and the
towns right now,
independence of revenue source, right? That's,
right.
Yeah.
And then you gotta make it economical. Why do they decentralize it? Give it responsibility for some of the things that it is better for them to do than the central government, like security, policing, the fire department, health. These are things that can be done by the municipalities, but they need to be enlarged. They need to give strengthening to the institutions. They need stronger human resource.
You say that, you mentioned Saning Daughter. Do you think that these cities are to have their own independent police departments as opposed to one police department policing the whole country as we do now?
There would have been a connection at the national level, but they will be represented by the cities.
Yeah.
So each city indeed will have their autonomy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that makes sense because
Yes,
the priorities of individual cities are not the same as the national priority as you had mentioned.
That's the concept.
And
they say that
so
he
if
who
you
feels it knows it. So the closer you are to the problem, the more you are likely to want to address it.
Yeah.
And that
Because
was the thinking that was driving decentralization in the world, particularly in Latin America.
Yeah, you see, I think probably when the commissioner of police look at the crime problem and the murder rate, he's looking at the whole thing. If you had local autonomy looking at those individual cities, I'm sure you could bring those crime rates and murder rates down.
Of course. And we
But
can
when he look at it,
we can cross-fertilize. We will work together.
He would say he's brought them down as it is.
Well, he has. It has gone down by 8 or 10 people less died last year than the year before, which I guess is an improvement. But having 100 and something people or 80 something people die every year is still a disgrace to our nation. It is still way too high, and it is something we can work on to bring down. And we shouldn't just be accepting. There's 10 less people dead this year than there was last year.
Yeah, that's not a way to measure it. That's not good to measure.
Speaking about taxes too, though, Joe and I had a vibrant conversation this morning regarding people who work online in Belize, but for companies that are abroad. Those companies, those people are paid by those companies that are abroad. My view is that they ought to, when they get that money that's sent to Belize, which is substantially more than the people in Belize are making, they should then pay a little tax on that, given that they live in the country and make use of the infrastructure and other resources of the city. What do you think, Greg?
Of course, taxes, but our tax system generally is a voluntary system. So, but people need to be culturalized and need to be disciplined and have the ethics to pay their taxes.
What do you mean by voluntary? Sorry to interrupt. What do you mean by voluntary system?
The voluntary I mean is that there's not someone looking over your shoulder saying pay your taxes if you're not within the employment of a company that's making that deduction.
No,
if you are self-employed, you have to assess your own tax and make that payment. If you're working for a foreign company, you have to report. It's up to you to report that income so that it can be put as a tax charge against you. That's the portion I'm saying.
Yeah, but
I'm saying the reporting.
We don't have a voluntary tax system, Mr. Martin.
No. I'm saying the reporting of it. If you understand what I'm saying, it's not voluntary. You don't have a choice whether or not to pay, but you have a choice as whether you will declare your income. No, you don't.
No, you don't have that choice.
No, but in the same case that Mr. Mike reference, those
I'm
people
giving you my absolute assurance on that's not true.
But how will you get that information from those people that he's
Because
talking
what
about right now?
happens, you cannot have a business in Belize without registering and having a trade license.
But I understand.
You cannot have a business. You cannot have a
I
business.
understand. But those people are working foreign. They're settled. For example, I could go to Belize and I could say, okay, to my company that I'm here, I'm going to work from the US. I'm going to work in Belize. I'm going to move to Belize, and they're paying me in US. We have some people that they're doing that too right now in different parts of the world, in South America, and those people are just getting their income. It's deposited in their check in their checking account in the United States, and they withdraw it and they have it. I'm saying it is the responsibility of the individual to then report that to the government and say, I am working for my company overseas and they're paying me, and here is my declaration for income source.
This
That's the voluntary I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I think the point that is being missed here is this. Every person, whether you live, if you come just to Belize to visit for a month or two, you pay tax. Everybody pays tax when they are in this country.
Yes.
The bulk of our taxes in this country are what
we're not talking about bulk. We're talking about just those unique situations that.
No, what I'm talking about is that to say they don't pay tax, they pay tax. They all pay.
No, but what I know you're a tax guy. That's not the
what
point,
I'm saying.
Mr.
The bulk of the tax of this country.
Mr. Cowie, you're missing the point that we're getting
I'm not.
at. We're talking about people. We're talking about people that are working in Belize and getting paid overseas and not declaring those taxes. Those are for a specific class of people that somehow gets under the table. They're not working for a registered company in Belize. They're not working with a company in Belize. They're working overseas. They may have come to the United States, made a contract with a company, get a contract, and doing that work in Belize and not declaring those taxes. That's the
but what I'm
situation.
saying to you, the point that I will explain to you clearly how the money that comes to Belize is being taxed through the indirect taxes, and the bulk of the taxes for Belize.
But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about income tax.
Yes,
I know we pay taxes in every other form.
I will come to income tax next.
Okay.
So the bulk of the taxes are paid through the indirect taxes. So everybody will pay once they consume goods. Now, we have a threshold. For personal. You're talking about personal income tax now.
Yes.
No, we have a threshold. Where up to 29,000 is not taxed. You remove that immediately. Now, what they do, if you want to say we will tax you now because you are living in Belize, you are not working in Belize, your employer is outside.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to tax them, then you use the same thing like we do for companies. And what the US does, we do the double taxation relief, which means if they are to pay tax on the income that comes to Belize, not earned. The income is derived in the United States, but they are working because of the internet. They can work here.
Yes.
So when the income comes, you can in fact say for personal income tax.
But you may not even know that income coming. That's what I'm saying. That's the point.
You have to pick it up because they have to bring in the foreign currency through the bank.
No. That money is deposited directly into my U.S. bank account.
Well, not the people in Belize, Greg, because they said it. Let me clarify that. There are people in Belize who are hired by foreign companies to work, and they work online and they get paid.
Those ones have to declare. Those ones, according to Mr. Cowie, have to declare and register as a company doing business in Belize.
But the companies are not in Belize. The companies are in the U.S.
No, but they're doing business in Belize. They have to register as a company doing business in Belize.
I don't think you got it.
No. What happened? You have taxation which you will pay tax and where the income is derived. Now, in the U.S., which is different from many other countries, the U.S. pay taxes on their world income.
A remote worker, as these US pointed
out. They pay on their world income. So if a U.S. company is operating in Belize, the company has to pay taxes in Belize.
Yes.
But they also have to report the taxes once they are being remitted back to America. But what they have is a double taxation relief with Belize. So if you pay Belize X amount of dollars in the taxes, then when you calculate the tax in the U.S., they will deduct the one they pay in Belize.
Yes.
Now, you can do the reversal in the case of where if the person is working in Belize, if the person is residing in Belize, but the income is being derived, and derived in tax law has a specific meaning. The income is being derived in the US, but the person is here providing the services in Belize because of the internet services.
Right.
So you can, if you want to say, listen, you will have to pay your tax, and you give them the double taxation relief, which they may not have to pay anything then. But automatically they'll get the first $26,000 relief fund. Then we have the Retired Persons Act. And the Retired Persons Act, again, is to bring Belizeans or American Belizeans come home and bring their money home.
Yes, yes.
And they don't tax them. They give them, the law allows them to bring one. If they want to bring a plane, they want to bring a boat or car, anything. And they don't pay anything. They encourage them to bring their money home.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah, I think just the confusion was whether people working in Belize can avoid paying Belize taxes, and what are the mechanisms that allows them to do that. I think that was the gist of what G. Mike was asking.
I don't know that they even pay. They don't pay.
They don't pay because they are not taxable. They're not taxable. Only if you're taxable, you can avoid tax. Nothing wrong is avoiding tax.
Yeah.
But you should not evade the tax.
Trump says being smart.
Trump says you can avoid tax. You have a right to avoid it. You have a right to avoid tax. You structure your business to pay the least. You have a right to do that. But you should not evade the tax.
That's Lord Ashcroft. In fact, he asked for handout while he's asking not to pay taxes.
But I'm saying to you that if the income is not taxable, then it's not they're avoiding it or evading it. It's just not taxable. But the income comes to Belize, maybe not all of it, because they have to live when they're here. I know of 2 persons just come to Belize, 2 of them, husband and wife. They used to work. They work for somebody in Belize when they were in the States, and they were working for somebody in the States while there. Now they come to Belize, and they continue to work for this person in Belize, which they pay their tax on, and they also continue to work for the person in the US.
And they don't pay any tax on that?
Because it's not taxable.
Why is it not taxable?
Sorry, make it clear.
It's not
they
legal.
They don't pay any personal income tax because it's not taxable.
Why is it not taxable?
Because the income was derived in the US. We don't tax income derived outside Belize. America does. America taxes citizens and world income.
Yeah,
but we don't do that.
But maybe we should. We certainly could use it.
Okay. So then Mike's question was mute. Then if we don't tax income that's not derived in Belize, then that means let me just get this point across. See if I clear it.
Go ahead.
So if I come, I set up an arrangement with a telemarketing company in the United States. I go back to Belize and I start doing whatever it is, telemarketing, just myself or my family, and we derive an income. I don't need to pay any taxes in Belize, is what you're saying to me?
Because it's not taxable.
Well, see, the point is not mute. And when you say the point is mute, because I'm saying I believe that they should, because if you're living in Belize, and even though your work is for a company in the US, you're getting paid in US terms. So when you get your money, even after that tax that the US charges you, it is substantially more than the average person in Belize makes, because you're getting the 2-for-1 for sure. When it gets there, it's 2-for-1. But but you're using infrastructure. You're part of the security that's provided. You use the roads when you drive. You use everything. And I know that you pay taxes when you go to the store and you buy a cigarette or milk or anything like that. I understand that. But I just think that it would be fair for that person to contribute something towards the upkeep of the state in which they live. That is my only point.
Okay, and that's the point I was trying to
ask a question.
But what the chairman is saying is that he's not saying that the income is taxable. He's saying he thinks they should make it taxable. But I want to make a clarification. I will finish quickly. You say that income that they get from America, which is not taxable in Belize, as a personal tax. But the tax that they are paying through the indirect taxes, like the custom duties, where they pay on goods they consume, the GST is the largest revenue earner in this country.
Well, all the rest of us pay that too, Joe. Not
No,
just
they are paying
them.
it. They
Yeah,
pay the GST.
all of us do too.
Yeah.
That's what
No,
I'm saying.
what I'm saying to you, man, you just suggest as if
No,
when you
they
talk
pay. No, Joe. This is simple.
no,
They
what I'm
pay
saying,
too, but we
the
pay
tax
too.
that you are referring to that they are not taxable on is their personal income
That's
tax.
correct.
That's
That's
what we're
correct.
saying.
That's what I
There's
want
no
to make clear.
disagreement with that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
Lisa, you had something to say?
Yes,
Lisa,
I actually did. Hi guys, good evening.
good evening.
When it comes to
Good evening.
income tax, as an example, let's say entertainment taxes, and I'll give an example. Let's say I'm an actress in the US, and let's use Canada for example. If I go to Canada and I work in Canada, Canada also charges me an income tax as an entertainer and working for a period of time in Canada. It may not be as large as it is in the US, but I'm also generating income in their economy system. So if that's happening, is Belize the only country that allows for for monies from income to be generated and not taxed within the country?
Well, you better ask our controller, auditor, that accountant, that, because
Let me
it seems
explain that to
strange to
you.
me.
We are saying that Belize, and so does Canada. Canada is on the same system like Belize. In fact, much of our income tax system was adopted from Canada. They were the ones who did the revision. The major revenue tax reform in this country was done through, under Trudeau. We get assistance from Canada to revamp the tax system. So our tax system is very much patterned off the Canadian. Now, what we do, if you come to Belize as an entertainer, these entertainers that come from Jamaica and whatnot and all over, they have to pay taxes. They pay taxes on the income derived in Belize. You see, when they come and entertain, the income is derived here. But Belize doesn't tax on the income that is derived in America to a person in Belize. Neither does Canada. The United States does. The United States taxes citizens
Yeah,
on world income.
Yes. Okay. Well,
No, you're mute. You're mute, Lisa. You're mute.
Now I have a better understanding. So I was trying to figure out, okay, well, what's the difference between Canada and or other Commonwealth countries? I was trying to make a broader picture, but at least you gave me a better understanding with that response.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I say I know Mr. Cowie like that, because he's always supporting those bigger earners that don't want to avoid taxes.
You mean he prefers those guys? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding. But the government does need resources and revenue. And one of the big problem I see in that same realm of things that's going on, where probably a lot of income is being evaded, and it is in this booking and stuff in our tourism industry, where these tickets and not tickets particularly, but these tours and stuff are being bought overseas, paid with credit cards and stuff, and the money never gets into Belize. And I don't know how Belize if they have the resources. And that's what I was saying, voluntary system in terms of reporting. I don't know how we're able to manage and see how these hotels and these tours and stuff are paying their fair share of income, when much of this income is derived and managed and reported overseas, and is through credit card that just goes to this company's bank account in the United States. How are we managing that, and how should we be preparing ourselves to manage that? Because I'm sure millions and maybe billions of dollars of revenue is being lost in this process.
I can say this with certainty, that Belize tax system, the tax administration is weak. It is today. I do believe, and it has been proven, and I don't want to be knocking any ethnicity, but I think we know who we are talking about. 4% of this population of this country controls the commanding heights of the distribution sector. That is a fact.
Mhm.
But that 4% is not paying a fair share of the taxes.
Mhm.
And that is because of corruption, widespread corruption, and it begins even from the top at times. So a lot of people in this country, that 4%, which are creaming off a large percentage of the GDP, but are not paying their taxes, their custom duties, their environmental tax, their GST, not to mention the business tax. And we know that for a fact.
Let me back up for I hear what you're saying, but there's some that we have control over that we're willingly neglecting to make that process strengthen and collect because of the corruption. But I'm talking about more the part that is just totally in the shadow, and we're not able to see what those income are, what those income derived from, and even have a way of accounting for them.
But we can't.
That someone evade taxes by paying a custom officer or some official off so they could get their goods through. That is corruption that we could address and change. But there's much of it that it's hidden in this shadow space that I'm talking about, where people are paying with credit cards overseas. I had a situation where I was buying a stove for someone, and the company says, "Oh, just go ahead and send it to this account overseas for me, and when we get it, the product will be delivered to this individual." And I took part in it, and I did it because I wanted the people to have what they wanted, what they needed for their function. But I was certain that it is not done in a manner that makes it accountable to our legal and tax system.
I don't know if there's some of those tax people that we don't want to go after, we don't want to offend them by demanding it. What I think we should be doing though, and I've been thinking about this for a while, is capitalizing more on the tourism trade, getting more from that. And I'll give one way I think we should do it. I don't think small planes should land and take off from the Philip Goldson Airport. I think they should go from the municipal airstrip that the taxi people could make and leave money to ferry them back and forth. There should places be along the way where they could stop and see souvenirs and concession stands and whatnot that they can stop and buy. I think that we have to be smarter when it comes to that. If we're going to sell our country, then more of us ought to be benefiting from the proceeds of that sale. So I don't think we're doing enough of that. I think they come in like the tourists come off of the big plane, get on the small plane, go straight to a resort. And like you said, Greg, a lot of the stuff is prepaid. So they can come without even any money.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I saw it done in Jamaica, actually. I went to the grill one time, and you weren't even allowed to tip any of the workers. That it was against the law to tip them, against the rules of the place. Yeah. So, and I'm saying this is amazing because there's some money, that foreign income that could be coming in, and that people who really need it, they do pay them well though. They pay them well enough that they don't have to rely on the tips. But I think it never hurts for a little more foreign income to come in, huh? The exchange.
Well, I think when the people make that kind of policy decision about tipping, is because they want to make sure that the performance of the employees is consistent, whether they're getting a tip or not, and so you could understand that.
I can understand that too. I can understand that. Yeah,
I can point out here, gentlemen, what is one of the blatant evasion taking place right in our eyes. They have what you call visible wealth. No, we used to do it when I was in both customs and income tax. And I was involved in the reformation of both, along, again, with the Canadians and the British. No. Visible wealth. I know for a fact that when I check the lands department, this property is owned by Mr. X. When I look at that property, that land, there's a big building on it. So you begin with the assumption who owns the land owns the building. That's a principle of law, no? Now, you find out who the owner is. Now, you know the source of income that he has declared, what kind of work he's doing, where he's getting income from. Now, that is what you call a visible wealth that is not being accounted for through the tax system, and it's right before your eyes. So if you want to do it, which we used to do, you can investigate it, and you can tax them.
What do you do about politicians that have a large amount of property and all kinds of money?
That's why it doesn't happen.
Visible wealth.
That's why it doesn't happen.
I don't think that you must look at the politician and say, well, the politician has a lot of money and they have a lot of properties, that's why they don't do it. I think that it's a different issue. That's a question of obsession. Obsession, I'm saying it, for the spoils. They want the spoils of the office after the election. So that is a different issue. If you believe that the political leaders, through the Constitution, charged with responsibility, the ministers in particular, for control and direction over departments, are in fact not enforcing these laws, then we, the citizens, have a right to withhold the tax.
Yeah.
But we don't want
and that's one of the area where we were talking about, where once you start breaking up that central government control over thing, you could start getting movement from individual local government, which would probably be district type government. Because
would that help, you think?
Yes, it would. It would, because
more people
no. I think once you start breaking things down and putting it in smaller bite, you start getting movement, because you have people with different motives. You see,
Exactly.
if everything is in central government hand, then the same motivation carries.
That's right.
Everybody have to be good. But
it's worth a try if it could work. You know,
it can work.
But tell me something, Joe.
Let me add something to what Mr. Gregory said, Mr. Chairman. I just want to support.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to get to something. Go ahead.
What Mr. Gregory is saying is very true. Let me tell you why. There is a principle in decentralization we call revenue sharing. Now, when you decentralize, you have better control over your taxes, but the understanding that you want to do revenue sharing, meaning there are certain taxes that come to the central government. For example, when the fuel comes in through the imports, the largest revenue earner in this country, it goes to the central government. But when those vehicles are traveling through your town, your city, they are damaging your roads. So there are certain things that the central government must be bound by law to share with the subnational governments. And then by coming together, they will better be able to deal with these taxes. So I think Mr. Gregory have a very valid point, because that is how the whole idea of decentralization, that was part of the benefits of decentralization. Anyway, go ahead, sorry.
On the topic of taxes here, isn't there a law that when a person goes into office, they must declare their assets and continue doing so while in office, and at the end of the time they come out and also declare what they have then?
Yes, I think they have to do it about a year or two after they come out.
Have they been doing it? As far as you know, have they been doing it?
Yeah. Well, there was a time. There was a time when it was not being done by some, and then what happened when there was a change? I think it was under the PUP or UDP. Both parties agreed that there will be an amnesty, meaning they draw the line and they say, all right, whatever gone is gone. Now, from this day on, they will begin to do it. Now, I had a report coming out from the Integrity Commission, and they are in fact calling names of some of them who are not filing their returns.
So they're not doing it, some of them. That's what
right.
you're saying.
But now they are beginning to name them and shame them, hopefully.
I would think they should. But what about these politicians who come out and obviously come out a heap wealthier than they went in? Is there no way that we can hold them accountable? Is there hold them in check? Do some kind of assessment of what they have and demand that they explain how they got it?
The law is there to hold them in check. And the point I've always been making is that the weakness is not the Constitution or the laws. The weakness is the application of them, the enforcement of them. The law is right there. For them to account every year, they must account at the beginning. They must account every year. And when they leave, they must account. But if you're not accounting, then who is to enforce it?
But who demands the accounting to be done?
Who demands it?
Yes.
The people who are in charge of the Integrity Commission, who are appointed by the same politicians.
You see where we get, you see how we get bent over and taken advantage of, right?
Because we, the citizens, allows it.
Yeah.
We are the ones to be blamed, not just them. We allow it by not participating.
Sam, Joy, we saw the first comment, Sam, and now your question is how the tax department knows who makes what. All right, we will get that. The one before that you suggested that the U.S., this one, everywhere you go, we had covered that, and Joy had explained that yes, they do tax on what
World
you make
income.
abroad and what you make at home. So,
World
but now, who taxes? The other one now is how does the tax department knows who makes what?
What we have is that
usually the employer declares it, right?
we had introduced in the reform in the 70s when we adopted much of the system of the Canadian. I did Canadian tax law myself. And when we adopted the Canadian tax system, we adopted the PAYE, the pay as you earn. So all employees are captured through the employers. Mm-hmm. Then how do you capture the employers? All of them have to be registered to do business in the country. Everyone should be registered. They're registered with the GST. They're registered with the business tax. They have to register with them. Then they have to register for the trade also. And it is through these now that they themselves have to file their returns, and they have to file it every month. Every month they have to file returns. So that's how you know how the self-employed are captured. The employees are captured through the employers.
Yeah.
Under the PAYE system.
But how do we strengthen our tax system? We identified quite a bit of weaknesses, quite a bit of opportunity where people are not in any way looked at to make these reporting. And how do we strengthen what mechanism do we use to strengthen
Morrison, there was one thing I think we should learn from the study done by the Manchester University. You say your system is not your problem. Your problem is the mindset of the people who are supposed to carry out the system. You say you must first transform the mindset if you want reform to succeed. No, we could have the best tax system in the world. We could have the best systems for whatever we have. But if you don't have the right people, they will not succeed.
Aria wants to know how you capture the self-employed.
The self-employed is captured, as I said before. You will capture them firstly. One, they have to register with the tax department. They have to get a trade license. They have to satisfy all these requirements. So they have to show the requirements that they have license for GST. They have license for business tax. Mm-hmm. They have to be licensed because if they are doing trade, they have to pay the trade license. Mm-hmm. So they have to be registered.
And don't they also pay a local city registration tax for doing business in the city or the village?
No, we don't.
They don't have that.
We pay the trade license.
Okay. So, but the trade license is issued by the local municipality, right?
In some of them, not all.
I see.
Is that kind of like what happens to people who say the vendors at the market who all have to pay money to be there? Is that kind of like a registration fee and tax the food vendors, etc., etc.?
Yeah, they pay the city council, but they pay for the use of the space.
Okay, but they don't have a trade license as such.
But isn't there also a tax?
No,
isn't there also their personal tax? Is that just
they get what you call like a peddler's thing? Instead of the trade license, they get they pay for the space.
But then there's also an income tax. But isn't there also an income tax based in addition to the space tax that you pay and the
that's separate because they are what you call self-employed. Those vendors are self-employed.
So then there's also another tax on them, right?
Right, but what happens with them is that when you go out and you look at them, some people decide just to maybe bypass them and not enforce it because they could see they may not be making the 26,000. You say what happened?
I see.
Yeah, there's a threshold, correct?
Yeah, but you have sorry, make I repeat this.
So let me ask you a question on that.
Make I repeat this.
Okay.
For business tax, you have to make 75,000 a year. That's for the self-employed. Then for the individual,
before you pay taxes,
then you have to make at least 26,000. So when you go by the market, you right away will say, listen, when it comes to the paying the tax, that is the income tax, what they call the business tax, they're not bother with them because they know
Why?
they're not making the
Mr. Corey, this
75,000.
does not make sense because you're
The
telling me
price
you
of
have to make
plantain
20.
now, they must make all that much though. But go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
Mr. Corey, you're telling me you have to make $26,000 before you pay. You're obligated. You're liable to any income tax.
No, to
But
personal income tax.
personal income tax. But most people in Belize are not making $26,000 a year. So you're saying they are not paying, these individuals are not paying taxes?
No,
People,
if
I
they
know
not, if
taxes
they
are
don't,
getting taken from people's paycheck every month, and those people at the end of the year are not making $26,000.
I think what would be good if you would take a look at the budget and where they break down the taxes,
Mhm.
and it will give you a pretty good idea. The number one revenue earner is the GST. The second largest revenue earner is, I think, the custom duties and what they add to that. Then after that, that are the trading one. Then after that, you'll have the business tax with income tax. Well, we don't pay much income tax again. We have changed that. You have an option, but most of the taxes now are business tax. I wish they would go back to the income tax only. It's a better tax than the business tax. So you'll find that the
But
three main revenue earners, and the biggest is your consumption tax. So that's why everybody is captured.
Mhm.
The unfairness about the tax system right now, as I see, sorry, let me not say the tax system. The unfairness is that the lower income person must pay tax because he must eat, he have to consume. So he pay the consumption tax, which is the largest revenue earner for this country.
Right.
Now, you'll find at times, and I know this for a fact, the very person who is to collect it and pay it in sometimes doesn't pay it in. Then he turns around, and that same businessman may not pay his proper business tax. Then he turns around and he evades custom duties in collusion. So when you look at what is happening in us, and you look at the 1.5 billion, and you take out the 1 billion, the truth about it, the lower middle income people are paying the bulk of the taxes in this country because they cannot evade it through the GST. They have to pay. But the ones that 3-4% who control the commanding heights of the economy in the distribution sector, they are getting a large share of the GDP. So don't tell me about the 5% growth of the economy and go about
And that's my
tell
concern.
me how you are
How to
distributing that 5% growth.
and that's my
Our people are
concern.
not sharing in that, getting a small portion of that 5% growth. That's what is happening.
But that's my concern about those people that are evading taxes and probably that is a concern. How do we address that? And I know you said that it's you could develop the best system and it depends on the hearts of the people, but a lot of time you can't change the hearts of greed, right? So we need a system that makes them accountable, and that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah. Tell me though, and somebody raised the question here because let's not look at the dislike of Michael Ashcroft, but does he pay, in your opinion, a reasonable tax? Belize Bank, of course, is a business. Has he been able to evade taxes going there? He has a few other businesses I know, I can't name them here, but does he pay a fair share of taxes, do you think?
I think in policy you could never say whether somebody pay a fair share of taxes. They pay the taxes they're obligated to pay, or the taxes that you assess them. If you could avoid tax, that's fine. The problem I've always had with Michael Ashcroft is not with Michael Ashcroft. It is with the government, the consistent government repeat that have allowed him to have a free reign over the economy of Belize and giving him concessions that denies revenue to the country. I know he creates employment. I know he does that, but constantly we offset a lot of these things with what I'll call personal corruption. It seems either corruption that goes directly to individuals or corruptions that goes to the political party through political financing, campaign financing. So those are the problems I have with my Clashcraft, and it's not my Clashcraft. It is with our system and with our leadership, both on both sides of the aisle, whether it be PUP or UDP, and whether it be UDP lawyers that defends him or PUP lawyers that defends him in these cases against the government.
Joe, DJ wants to know, how do you mount an audit against a non-profit organization? Is that possible to do?
Well, the non-profit organization itself should have an audit done. But if the tax department feels, although it's a non-profit organization, and it's not supposed to pay tax under they call it now,
502
not non-profit, they changed the name, I forget it. They just made a new law the other day and replaced the non-profit organization. It was involved
NGO?
Yeah. It's just, anyhow, they don't pay taxes because they're not supposed to be making profit. But what they were required to do to get the benefits too of these exemptions, they had to be registered. And then they have to carry out an audit. That means an internal audit, no?
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, the departments, any of the tax departments, have the right. Well, it'll be more the income tax department, because unless they're buying things and they're supposed to collect the GST, they have the right to audit them. By law, they have the right. But internally, for them to benefit from the subsidies or the exemptions that they get from the government, the law has made such law. And they amended the law recently because of the Anti-Money Laundering and Terrorism Act, which they believe that these NGOs could be used as sort of vehicles for money laundering. So the law was amended primarily for that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't come from us. That came from outside, correct?
Driven,
the demand for that.
Yeah, those things, we have to do it in cooperation, of course, with other countries that are bigger than us, because they are trying to prevent.
They also in setting up those NGO, they set up certain structure of how much you could raise and how you declare that money, and then how much you could pay the officers and operators of those. That is part of the.
No, they don't have any jurisdiction over that.
From what I've seen, they can tell you how much you can pay to your controlling interests, people, when you're raising funds.
No, the government, the donors who are donating. I know this for a fact because we used to do audits of many of the big NGOs in this country, and you'll find that many times that the big donors are demanding that you have to have an audit.
But also how much you can pay. But the government, you're saying the government doesn't prerequisite how much you could pay to your officials. It is the donor class that.
No, they don't have any jurisdiction over that.
I see. Okay.
The donors donate, and the NGO organization will then donate. So they are the ones who manage those donations, but they have to account to them. And I know the donors insist that they have an audit.
Yeah.
Are political parties taxed? Are they registered? And this is not my. I don't want you to figure out to pick on politicians tonight, Greg. This is a question from Ari.
Political parties have no legal status in the country. They are neither a natural person nor a legal person.
They're not registered or anything like that.
No, that's why they have been clamoring for them now, especially with this new act, the new It's not named not for profit. It's something I try to remember the new name for it. But anyhow, it's the same thing like the not for profit. And then they are saying that you are asking these NGOs now to register too. So they are demanding to let the political parties do the same, because they are like NGOs. They say they are not for profit.
They certainly are for profit. I'll tell you that.
They're only for profit.
You have to convince me of that, boy.
Especially that PUP party.
Yeah. I will reserve my cynicism for another occasion.
Yeah. Speaking of politics, now we saw in the news that Bruce Martinez has triggered a recall against the gentleman from Port Loyola, Usher. He then gathered signatures, as was required by law, and presented it to the Governor General, as was required by law. The Governor General, as was required by law, was supposed to have passed those on to the Chief Election Officer, but did not. Booth made some remarks that could have been considered disparaging. I believe he called her a couple of choice words, but one of them was dishonest. There was a time in politics when he would have been arrested, wouldn't he have been? Wasn't there that sedition trial with Judge Price and his crew? Wasn't it but for saying some
that was
things?
whole different. That was confetti. That was confetti raining down on Her Royal Majesty the Queen.
Well, according to the law, it is unlawful for any person to bring the Governor General, in particular, in her capacity.
But if she has a
contempt,
legal
disrepute, or
responsibility,
disproportionate.
no, if she has a responsibility to have passed that information on to the election and boundaries
But
official,
that's another matter, though. That
she-
doesn't give him the right to
no, you could
violate
say
the law.
she's dishonest if she didn't do what was required by law. It could be a dishonest character trait and behavior act. There's no doubt about that. She was appointed by a certain political party, and she may be favoring their action, acting in favor of actions that supports that political party. That's not beyond human imagination.
Mr.
I
Chairman,
don't want. I'm not accusing her of that.
but do we know for a fact that the GG has not do what the law requires to do?
Well,
That's
apparently
what the law-
they asked the chief elections officer, and she said she received the signatures on the 21st of February. Boots apparently has records that he gave them to her on the 16th of January. So that's over a month had passed. According to the law, she's supposed to deliver them forthwith. That's the word.
Oh
that the law uses.
well, I don't care about. She delivered them. If she delivered them, that's fine. I thought she didn't deliver them
No, she
as
did.
was required.
She did, and he
and created a constitutional issue as to the legality of whether the recall could be carried out because of the delay.
no.
No. The question that the chairman is raising is a valid one. He mentioned the operative word, but he mentioned just now is forthwith.
Yeah. No,
What
I
does it
understand.
mean by forthwith? What was forthwith in the context of the law?
Immediately, as far as I know. Yeah.
Well,
That's right.
yeah, but
He should have delivered it within the earliest time possible, the next day if could.
yeah, but how does that affect the longevity of what has to happen in terms of the recall? Does it push us up against
It's
the
not
date?
that I don't even worry about whether you affect the longevity or not.
No, I'm concerned
You
about
have an
that. because-
obligation to comply with the law. Comply with it.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I
But I'm
believe
saying
he was
everybody
trying to
has.
he was trying to get that deadline in before the March elections.
That's right.
And in fact, he was suggesting that they could put whatever referendum needed to the people on that very
that's
ballot,
what I was
you
saying.
see?
That's what I was
and
asking.
save some money and whatnot. So that was his concern. What chances he has, I don't know, because I don't know what is his popularity in that area is the same as it used to be. He certainly won multiple times back there. The words he used was delinquent, disingenuous, and dishonest. Is that bringing the reputation of the GG into disrepute? And that's the question. Is he able to do that? Because there's certain things that you are not
We could
allowed
say anything
to do by
about
law.
yeah, we could say
No, that's
anything
not true.
unless you
That's not
unless you committing some type of
It's slander.
no, that's not
There's no
slander.
law against slander.
That's not slander to say that somebody didn't act. That's an opinion.
It's
Yeah,
not,
but Mr. Morrison,
no, yeah.
even if the AG didn't act forthwith, I think those are very serious words to characterize that by.
To say that she didn't act genuinely.
No, that's not what he said, Gregory.
If
Let
he
me
didn't act
repeat the
forthwith,
words.
I don't think those words, what the chairman is saying, if that's what Booth said,
That's
to me,
exactly
those
what
words
he
are very
said.
strong
verbatim.
words.
They are strong words.
yeah.
They are
Very
strong words, but they
proportionate
made.
to the charge. I think that is going too far. Although
You
she
think
may be
so?
wrong for not doing it forthwith, but she may. But those words are some serious accusation he's making.
And this lady has a lofty position
Exactly.
in government. So we have to look at that. there were interesting case, and
Ariel pointed out that those are liable civil laws, not criminal laws.
well, yeah, yeah, indeed. But
Yeah.
but again, it is a law. So
Yeah.
you know,
So then you
so
could you could sue for personal damage if you feel so offended.
can you go to jail for
Only if you don't pay it. If you don't pay, they could probably
I
convert
see.
it to a criminal if you're charged
Yeah,
by a.
I don't
Right.
know. But Boots again, though, what are the chances that Boots could be reelected? But I mean, again, maybe that's a silly question indeed, because Trump can be reelected.
Anybody
So
could be reelected that
yeah,
people are
yeah,
willing to
yeah,
vote for.
yeah.
And
Um,
I don't think he didn't lose when he left. I think he voluntarily gave up his position, if I remember correctly.
yeah, but he has
So
been involved in a few things that might have,
they
in
they
any
have
other
they have the
country,
they had the money in the socks thing, and
in any other
and
country,
they had some
would
other
have,
stuff. But
yeah,
you know.
yeah. I don't know. Our whole system of governance has to be held up and looked at some point, and we do what we can to improve it. No, I don't know how it's going to work out, how we're going to do it, but something has to, at some point, we have to make an effort towards that end.
And
Is
I
there?
think what Mr. Cowie was saying, to move in a way of decentralization, to move in a way of greater share
Do
of
you really?
democracy.
You seem to have a lot of faith in that. Would that really serve a panacea, if
Yes.
you will, for what
I'm
is
not
going
saying a
wrong?
panacea, but once you start breaking up things, you start sharing the interests. You start getting more people. You know,
But you
it's like,
complicate it also too, though. You
well,
have more people involved.
you may or may not complicate it. The complication is not always numbers. You may have different layers, but it could also be a way of streamlining and making the whole system more efficient, more accountable, right? If you have a local mayor that's appointing a local police chief for a district, that police chief for that district will be accountable to that mayor. He's closer to the problem. He's closer to the mayor that's trying to resolve a particular and specific and particular issues within his jurisdiction. And so you might get more reaction and more responsiveness in some terms. And so I see that with police department. I see that with education department, school, having local smaller school district more accountable, so that you could set up districts, school districts that address more to the community needs. Some primary school, you may want to train people to do different type of things than you're doing in Belize City, that addresses those specific needs. Might be farming, might be tourism, might be whatever, but they're closer to the problem. Like Mr. Coy said, the closer you are to the problem, the more accountable you are, and the more assurance you'll get that you'll find a solution that fits your need.
Yeah, I don't know if accountable, I'd say that you're more accountable, but along that line, there are certain positions that I do believe ought to be elected as opposed to appointed. The ombudsman, I think, should be elected. The commissioner of police, I believe, should be elected. A couple of other that I can't think of right now, but certainly, I think that we get in trouble when the politicians appoint the very people that are supposed to hold them accountable. If you are appointing me, I'm beholden to you. I am not, and you can also fire me at any given point. Even the governor general is appointed by the prime minister. So I think it's begging for trouble when you do that. I think some posts will have to be apolitical, if you will, not just
But,
not.
Mr. Chairman, don't you think you'll be running the risk of broadening the scope for compromise? Because now the people will elect you. Instead of the people elect the person who will appoint you. The people will elect you. So you don't think you're broadening the scope for compromise, that the commissioner, in trying to win support, may compromise himself or herself?
You know,
But
I
don't,
on that
in what
point,
way though? I
on
don't
that
see.
point, I think if you have an elected commissioner and local appointed police chief for the district, I think that would be a good, because you have an umbrella cover for it of what direction, national direction could be set. But then you also have these people with their local jurisdictional control over the issues. So you could
Who
have
would have?
somebody there setting broad national objectives that could be of a source that's selected or appointed. I'm not too against appointment for certain position. Um, I know you favor the commissioner being elected.
The
I don't
problem
have a
is
problem with the commissioner being appointed and being removed or being continued as government change. I don't have a problem with that process. I think that's a prominent and national enough position that we see it for what it is. You see what I'm saying? We see it for what it is.
I
If
don't think you're making a very serious mistake there, Mr. Morrison.
hmm?
When you're going to have your commissioner who requires years and years of experience and training.
No, I said I don't mind him being appointed. I don't have a problem with the
Well, I
appointment.
thought you say appointment and they come and go with the government that it is, something like that.
No. I didn't say that. No, I
don't
didn't say that.
don't they
no.
usually though?
No, they haven't. This commissioner
This one
stayed on
hasn't,
from one
but
government.
for the most part,
No,
commissioners
most of
have
them
come
have
and
stayed
gone.
through government. This one have stayed the longest, I believe. The 3 years already since the new government.
But they stay once they dance to the tune
Well,
that's
they
being
always do.
played.
Everybody have to dance. Everybody have to dance. If you're in a
But
political
to
arena.
suggest that so flippantly
No, but
is
that's not a problem. That the commissioner or
it's
those
not a
people
problem
carry out
that they
the
dance to the
objective.
tune of the
No, carry
political
out the
masses.
objective. No, carry out the objective of the government. The government, to me, has a role and a function of fulfilling its manifesto and its portfolio to the people.
Greg,
And
I would have no problem with that if the government worked like it should. We know that politics in Belize being what it is, the different political parties have their agendas and their groups of cronies, their people that they look out for, their policies that they implement, that has a lot to do with just their party as opposed to the country.
Mr.
that's
Chairman, can I ask you a question. If our people are not fit for democracy, do you believe the problem is democracy or the people?
That's a trick question, isn't it? Lisa, Lisa,
he needs help. He needs help, Lisa.
You're saying just now. The problem is with the people, with the politicians. Yeah. But I'm saying then, if the politicians is the problem, then what system do you want? That means you don't want democracy.
Well, they do say in
you
democracy,
want a system that will fit the mediocre people that we have, or you want?
But you're passing the book. You're passing.
Yeah, but they do say you do get the government you deserve, right?
Exactly.
And you also get the government you elect.
But when you get the government you deserve, that doesn't mean you get democracy.
No, it doesn't mean that
exactly.
At all.
So the point I'm making, we have to take a stand. We don't want democracy. I want
know.
What we have.
Democracy, as it stands, is a poor example of democracy. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
and
it's because we haven't been taught. We haven't been taught about it. We haven't been educated in how democracy ought to function, and we have been active participants in our democratic processes.
Who would be a model for that? You believe? What country you would think would be a model for how democracy should be practiced?
I don't see one right now.
So
really,
what we have,
in the world,
what we're passing as democracy is a poor example of what democracy really ought to be.
I don't, Mr. Gregory, are you suggesting to me that there is no such thing as a model for democracy?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying right now, when I look at the individual countries, I see that capitalism and some type of strain has taken over the normal functions. Too much money or something is influencing the behavior, and the little people are not having the impact they should in any democracy. As I look across the entire plane of the United States, Europe,
they don't have democracy. They don't have a democracy. They have what you call veneer democracy.
Well, exactly, and that's the problem, and that's why I said I don't see a model right now.
Are you
That's why I
satisfied
said I
with
don't
veneer
see a
democracy?
model right now for
Now
a
the question is,
democratic
are you
state.
satisfied with veneer democracy?
Well, that's what we have. No, I'm not satisfied with that.
Before I
I
leave, I
want
will leave this,
active.
Mr. Chairman. I have to go. But let me tell you this.
It's nearly 9 o'clock. We're going.
You see this show? It's the only show right now I know of in this country, and I'm talking about Belize now, that has this kind of conversation. You don't have any other show in this country right now. And I listen to every one of them. 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, every one. You don't have this kind of conversation.
But I
They
think
don't
we ought
want
to.
to get engaged.
Yeah, I think we ought to. We have to, and we need to engage the people also. So I'm glad that some people do get engaged. But
I wish more people will get engaged. Don't be afraid of citing the faults with your own party if you belong to it. I know Mr. Gregory is red to his bone.
Come on.
Is it that obvious?
I am blue in my blood. I am a blue-blooded Belizean.
Yeah.
Next time I'll borrow you a red shirt next time.
Yeah. But now listen, we have our own particular choices when it comes to political parties, and there are two, not many, because I don't see any third party having an effect in Belizean politics anytime soon. As a matter of
evening.
Say it again.
I ask a person, very active, two of them, one active in the PUP, one active in the UDP. They're activists. Could you name me what is the dominant team in this municipal election? It's practically, let's take Belize City, anyone.
Step-on truck.
You got it right. One of them says step-on truck. Imagine. Step-on truck is a dominant team in our election. Then another one say, PUP must go. So that is a dominant team.
But that are usually dominant for every opposition.
Just imagine, Mr.
They have to go.
We are going to the polls Wednesday to elect leaders in 9 municipalities. And that one of them can tell us today, none of them I have heard. None. Not even Belize City Mayor and the 11. None of them I have heard actually came to the people and said, listen, this is how we intend to get it done. Yeah. Or they want to tell you, or not have emotional
rhetoric. Other people are bad.
Vote
we
me
are with the people. We are
vote me instead of them. Vote me instead of them. Yeah.
That's right.
But I made this point
on Wednesday. Imagine.
I made this point before. We should have politicians doing speeches, meeting the public, having public meetings, we outlining their plans for action. I think we should. I am willing to do and say, and I think that the worst thing that we are facing with right now is the lack of a viable opposition.
That's right.
And I'm saying right now to you that I believe that this PUP government might be in office, and I'm sorry, Gregory, this might hurt you, longer than the George Price PUP government
Jesus,
was in.
No. The people are not that feeble.
But the opposition is. But the opposition is. No. Who are you bringing? What do you have? Do you see anything down the line even that's gonna come up? Any young aspiring politicians?
I don't see it. I don't see it right now. I kind of capture what you're saying with the dismal outlook on things. But I'm always hopeful. I'm always hopeful that some vibrant new blood will enter the political sphere, both to change the entire paradigm of thinking, both in the PUP and in the UDP, because still their thinking is stale.
What is sad?
It's not consistent for the future development of the country that we need, moving this nation forward in the 21st century and preparing us for the next 40, 50 years and what's looming, what's coming. As we look at technology and we look at AI and all the advances that are happening, if people don't start grasping and grappling with these issues immediately, they're going to be left behind. You'll be, right now we talk about third world country, will probably be fifth or sixth world type country.
I don't know though.
I would like
I have
to
a question.
You all before I exit again. There is something we need to look at in terms of the history and in terms of the current practice of politics in this country. The country, no doubt, has embraced a patronage system. I think the UDP government mastered it under Barrow. The patronage system is well entrenched. When you have a patronage system, it's so well entrenched. The incumbent may have an advantage in the sense, and this is the reality of politics in any part of the world.
Yes.
The incumbent will have a
Who
very
are you talking
strong, a very strong
I'm
base.
doing my podcast.
The base will be strong.
Who's that?
So what happens?
The two gentlemen. It's almost over.
The opposition, I'm saying this, I'm not telling you what will be the outcome. The opposition will have an advantage in the sense that they don't have the base like the incumbent, because the base will be stronger and more passionate to protect the status quo. They are benefiting from the status quo, so they will fight hard. But just see what an opposition can gain seats in is that when you have a patronage system, it's difficult to satisfy all those who you thought you were going to satisfy in the last campaign. And they will leave you. So don't be surprised if the UDP were to pick up 2 or 3 seats, meaning division municipalities in this election.
I believe that will happen.
Sorry, not because of the leader of the party being any charismatic.
Strong. Yeah.
You know, I think it will just happen. And you know why? You are not looking at the nominally independent in this country. So while the party base will vote, don't worry about policies, then going with PUP, then going with UDP. That the nominally independent might look at this election differently and say, you know something?
Yeah.
We never we may expect.
Lisa, you wanted to say something?
No, I'm just asking. I believe Belize City has a third party in the race too, right? What is it? DPP,
Yes.
Democratic People's Party? Oh, no, movement, the DPM. Is that correct, Mr. Coyne?
I think it's a People's Progressive Party, something like that.
Or something like that.
Do they have candidates?
Yeah, Mr. Stephen Pereira is the mayoral candidate for them.
Oh, and Mr. Torres is also running again, I believe.
No, yeah, he's running independent as usual. But he has a full slate.
Torres has a full slate.
No, the third party.
A third party. All right, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Has the party base been reduced, do you think, over the years? There was a time when they felt like it was 40 PUP, 40 UDP, and 20 independent in the middle or undecided. But some people believe now it's gotten to like 20 on one side, 20 on the other, and 60 in the middle.
Yeah. So do we expect to have
scientific polling? My intuition tells me that the base has been reduced.
Yeah, I think so. So do we think then we'll have less turnout? There's less interest in this municipal election than in past. So
yes, and generally speaking, municipal elections turnout are usually around 65.
Yes, but
don't be surprised if you may not fall maybe in 58, 59.
Yeah.
But you know what's unfortunate, because Joe and I were speaking to a young man this morning who we met.
And it's a holiday too for the election, right?
Not
No.
at all.
Okay.
No, the holidays is the weekend, the following weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no
It's
holidays
actually
for
a couple of days. The Heroes and Benefactors holiday falls 2 days after
After the election. Okay.
the elections.
I mean, Baron Bliss' birthday. Yeah. All right. Anyway, no. But Joe and Joe, that young man we spoke to this morning is a young fellow. I believe he said it was 20 or something like that. We were talking to him for a while, but I don't know if young people aren't disenchanted at this point. Many young people don't even. Okay, and I'd like to see the statistics as far as how many have registered to vote that after turning 18 and becoming eligible for it. How many? And I imagine we could get that from the Elections and Boundaries, can't we?
Yeah, you can get it right from the
But I don't get a
the
feeling that the young people are as enthusiastic about politics or who's going to govern us or any of that. They're more concerned about indeed TikTok and AI, you know. So,
I fully agree with you. I spoke to some students from different high schools, and they don't seem to have an interest like they used to have one time. One time the students come out and they march and they demonstrate and they speak out. Today, all that has gone because the leaders that they were there before, you had leaders, you had people with political interests within the schools. You know what time when I was in SJC,
Mm-hmm.
we were very politically active. We go to public meetings. We hold meetings right on the campus. Today, the students don't even know who they run. That one morning, Mr. Chairman, when you ask him about something, he didn't even know that. What was you asking him about?
I asked him about a couple of the issues that's going on out there.
He doesn't know anything about them.
Has no clue.
No clue.
But he's studying.
I hope not. I hope not political science.
No. I don't know how many are doing that. Do they even have student governments?
Yeah, they do. They always have that.
But is it just a customary thing? Just something to?
Well, they usually are not focused on the raw politics, but just the administration.
But I think the purpose for it though is to prepare them for that raw politics.
That's correct.
So. And isn't there a civic class that we used to take civics?
Well, civics have been taken out of the primary school, and it has been taken out of the
high schools.
High schools too.
But you don't know why.
Well, it was intended. It was purpose to dummy you down.
Parties.
Conspiracy theory.
The two of them have intimidated those universities, especially UB. Mm-hmm. They intimidated them.
Yeah.
When I used to go to UB to give lectures, when the government changed, and I'm saying this, the UDP came in, and it's not that they didn't want me to come, but they were afraid. Now the thing has gone so far that I think the same has happened with the PUP. They don't want people to go to discuss politics with the students. So the students have lost interest. They don't even know about it. They don't lost it. They don't lose interest. They just never have it.
Yeah.
And again, they're afraid of being victimized because you could lose your scholarship.
That's right. That's the point when I talk about the patronage system. That's the thing I'm talking about.
Yeah, because most of them go there with a
they get scholarships, and they get scholarships from both sides, which indirectly is trying to seduce them, not for both. So what happened? They are intimidated.
And it's so wrong because they're using the people's money to buy votes, money that should be used for other programs, social programs and whatnot.
I don't think they use it to buy. They think they're buying votes. I don't think they're buying votes. They pay them, but they don't buy it.
Yeah.
This election, I think, will tell a lot. It'll be interesting what happens. I'm seeing a landslide. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, but I don't see.
I think you're reading it wrong because I don't think it'll be a landslide.
You're hoping I'm reading it wrong.
No. I think for sure PUP is going to win, but like Mr. Cowie said, I think it's going to be a split ticket within the Belize City. That's what I'm thinking from what I've
Belize City.
Observed.
You think for Belize City it'll be
and I think some of the other districts are also going to show similar. But I'm sure at the end of the day, from what I'm seeing, that PUP will continue to maintain the majority of town boards and city council. But I think a number of them are going to be shared positions.
It'll be interesting. Next Wednesday, we'll be on here and we'll be able to speak about it. By then, we'll have an idea of what is happening. I see the UDP.
When is the election? The election is Wednesday or
next Wednesday. Next Wednesday. So they'll be voting all day Wednesday. And municipals don't take too long to conk, right, Joe? They shouldn't be going into the night or anything like that.
No, municipal is wrong because remember there are 11 votes. And especially if they are splitting. If they're splitting those votes, that is what will take long. It might take them into the morning.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I see UDP with one maybe in the city.
Oh, man.
If you're lucky.
Oh,
it might be none. I'm just saying. I'm not wishing you badly. I'm not throwing any Mayan curse on you or anything like that. But
hey guys, I have one more thing to add before we sign off. I know we have 5 minutes left.
Oh.
Is that okay?
Yes, please. Are you going to tell us about coming out to support the
Right. I just want to truly extend a big, sincere, bottom of the heart thank yous to the diaspora family and even those in Belize that have come out to support us financially to get donations to Belize, hospital equipment to Belize.
How's that going?
It's going well. Like I said, the diaspora and some families and friends of friends are coming out strong financially for the support of the equipment supplies. And I really want to give everybody a thank you. I want to say thank you to the volunteers who have shown up. We are loading the trucks this weekend,
Okay.
given our weather. So
Did
I
Greg show
just,
up?
so far, yes,
You
Greg
did.
showed up, myself. So like I said, I just wanna, and for our viewers out there, I know a lot of people are questioning, well, what is the government doing? I do want to let you guys know that the government did come through. They're coming through big. They are doing a lot. They are giving us all their support for the shipping
Transportation.
costs. The shipping cost of these equipment is a high tag number. It's over $50,000 US. And so so I just want to let everyone know that the government has contributed. They are not neglecting our people. They're taking us seriously. I want to give thanks to Providence Health System, Tarzana Hospital. A thank you as well for their support in donating all of this stuff.
And also the lords that are
You
making
muted.
it all possible.
You muted yourself there, Lisa. Yeah.
Yes, and I also want to thank Mr. Edward and Miss Patricia Lord for their long days and for their fight, for their organization, for helping us through this. So I just want to give everyone a thank you. I want to give Mr. Ray Gongara a thank you for organizing, Deidre and all her platforms for letting everyone know to come out to help. Who am I missing? Ambassador Sandia Murphy for being for being a supporter of the diaspora people for this to get done. So thank you guys. We're not at our goal yet of 15,000 to get all the supplies, but we have managed to get
Say what
more
time
than
we need. Say what time we need assistance on over
So
the
this
weekend.
weekend we have it covered. What I'm just, we're looking for at least 6 more strong young men. I want to say that we need our young Belize men, any age under 40. The
That
people
rules
that
out Greg.
want
Yeah.
to help us are they're my senior helpers, but I can't have them picking up. I need help to get stuff out of the hospital, not put people back in the hospital.
Oh man. Oh, anyway. All right.
But I want to say thank you. I
Yes.
really want to say thank you for all your support, guys. And again, we're coming through. And thanks, Ari, as well for also helping out with us.
All right. But before CY starts playing music, I want to encourage people out there. Buddy Brown is doing a sneaker drive. All sneakers. If you got many people in America not even wear sneakers and throw them out. Get a new one come in. I understand Gregory have a couple of the Trump sneakers right now and that you want to throw in at the barrel. I don't know who's gonna accept that. But if you have a pair of sneakers in the closet that maybe your son outgrew or any of your children outgrew, and call Buddy Brown for me, throw it in at the barrel for we are here and get it done, and we make sure that we get them to some schools and some of the needy children out there in the community. We want to thank you again, guys. It's been another one in the books. Next week, again, election day. So we're going to have a very interesting show and see who could get on that could talk maybe more about what's happening now. Myself, I should be on Love for a part of the day, so I'm going to have some stuff. And then I believe Joe will be on there at some point during the day also. Have a nice evening. Thank you very much. Ciao.
Thank you, guys. Ciao.
CY, you're on.
Please, young people, in the 23 years, Berry King, La Ruta Maya history. Who are the baddest partner you ever see? Berries! Who? Berries! Yo, I see why this alongside the swingers. Yeah, me old star. Who do I win the battle? What we win the war? We can do, we go to Kevlar. Champion, I realize Pac-Man Rastabira make they know that just so we function. Jaja plan, organic conception, Rastabira moving like an army of one. People champion, I realize Pac-Man Rastabira make they know that just so we function. Jaja plan, organic conception, Rastabira moving like an army of one. This year one year. One man in a collusion, ruling the root of my yard. So right back, psychics to the handle the pressure. Even when the bout it, we still number under. We know we big two. Last year winner. We know we beat Japan or the one name from China. We have fans all over. Bunga Razala, Liga. CY and Francis that we sponsor. Baby, don't be stamina. We see your could I win this race in one hour? No bumper. We know we back like the unknown sun. The crowd back when the battle with the water. No retreat, no suffering. To a many people, there's something we remember. We the follow trend, we that trend setter. Definition after Rastabira. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Ling Bang, no matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme, Ling Bang. No matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme. First, make you see how far your back bend. If you don't know how, get less if I can rent. Turn your body round like a smoothie or the blend. New dance trend. Style we no borrow, style we no lend. For sure, we no the beg no friend. From in the thing from way back when for the elders and the children. Can't do the thinking they gonna still do it like charge. Back it up in the garage. Make them know we squad living large. All a salute the sarge. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again. Introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again. Introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Ling Bang, no matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme, Ling Bang. No matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme.
many more is open. To the right one, Jaja Subway, Rasta no need no token. One door is closed, many more. And it's that Jaja with the love we heart will never be broken. One door is closed, many more is open. To the right one, Jaja Subway, Rasta no need no token. One door is closed, many more. And it's that Jaja with the love. Me one brother try to stab me in a me back. My girlfriend left me true, me never have no dollars in a stock. Best friend about the claim, they dread, they smoke. How the lyrics, where will they drop the walk? Big game hunters, them they set them trap. But we they pray to the Father non-stop. Help me keep the heathens back. Help me keep the heathens back. When one door is closed, many more is open. To the right one, Jaja Subway, Rasta no need no token. One door is closed, many more. And it's that Jaja with the love we heart will never be broken. One door is closed, many more is open. To the right one, Jaja Subway, Rasta no need no token. One door is closed, many more. And it's that Jaja with the love. We run up into enough obstacles. Surprisingly, from we own people. Them just hate to see the dread. We say pinnacle, them a hope and pray. Say we stumble, but we burning both ends of the scandal. Daily routine with the Bible. Despite the effort of the devil, we have to reach Jaja's steeple. When one door is closed, many more. Apex predator, so treat me like a barracuda from outer Belize water, or like a polar bear from outer Alaska. If I'm a snake, then call me a black mamba. Apex
Hell yeah, you listening to another Muzi production.
I had hard times, real hard times. Swear I had to grind, swear I had to grind. Swear I'm losing memories. I'm too focused on my enemies.
With a song dark, booming song for your car. Song dark, me beg you easy start. Song dark, you know we crisp and clear. We don't want no fuss, no fight, we don't need no tribal war. Song dark, booming song for your car. Song dark, me beg you easy start. Song dark, crisp and clear. We don't want no fuss, no fight, we don't need no tribal war.
I'm in charge now, I'm the boss now. What it costs now, ain't no loss now. I do this for my trappers and my gamblers. When you ain't got money, gotta scramble up. When I'm moving now, money too ample. For the record, this a sample. What I can do, my nigga, what you can't do. When it come to this money, I'ma trample. Anything moving if it can't do. This is a massacre, I swear to God I'm losing it. I just gave you the wave, what you do with it. My last few bars, they've been proving it. Like MC Hammer, I am too legit. 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 Trapping ain't dead, these niggas scared. I can see you in my rear when I'm switching gears. Living fear, headlights and deers. This is trouble music, I'm just steering to it. I want you to hear what you feeling to it. I'm wave to the grave, I'm the realest out. When Stefani flow, this without a doubt. When they yell wavy wave, what they screaming out. Even in the drought, I still had clout. My name is Wavy Wave, what you talking about? I'ma take her out to eat, I'ma eat her out. Treat her like a bee when it's about to drop. Like MC Hammer, I am too legit. 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 For my trappers in the ghetto trying to find a plug. When you up, that's the only time they show you love. When you down, nobody wanna be around. Even when I'm in your town, I'm not in the town.
Someone think them rough, and I'm on rougher. Someone think them tough, wave it tougher. Someone think them hard, big it harder. We the whole for we corner like a weed farmer. Firm, get up early, we not look no arm. We not smoke no coke, we not smoke no dope, we not smoking no sherm. Strictly the connect in a leaf we burn. To whom it be a concern. Ashes to ashes inside of a urn. We don't forget things you'll never ever learn. Me the whole my corner, me and my girl named Laverne. Did you hear that? Who the casket fit? Them better just wear it. We know where the bodies are buried, that we make them build the pit.
Like MC Hammer, I am too legit. Like MC Hammer, I am too legit. Like MC Hammer, I am too legit. Like MC Hammer, I am too legit.
Yo, it's another Do-Man freak. Hell yeah, you listening to another Muzi production.
I had hard times, real hard times. Swear I had to grind, swear I had to grind. Swear I'm losing memories. I'm too focused on my enemies.
With a song dark, booming song for your car. Song dark, me beg you eat.
Across the world, we're hunting down the killers, one by one. We are winning. And we're showing them the definition of American
The
justice.
American dream. Living the American dream. It's so hard when your dream crash. Try to make a better life and it's so hard. Some leave their family behind just to chase some riches. Stuck at the border for months just to say they make it. But the American dream is not for you and me. They judge you on your past and that's a tragedy. Because I speak my mind and I say what's true. They say they want to burn the tree so they kill the root. But the American justice is the bigger scheme. They take your mind, break your heart and they crush your dreams.